I would like to call the meeting to order of the Rogers Lake Authority. First item of business is the approval of minutes. Amy, do you normally read the minutes? Do you have them from before? No.
No, I looked at the past couple of copies on the website, but I think I just got that transcript that you got. I think that's the only one.
Has everybody read the minutes? Do you want us to read them out loud? Unless there's a motion to approve the minutes as posted to the website.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Tony, okay. I was actually going to say, okay.
Could I have a second?
Joel, thank you. And you abstained.
I did.
You did. So it's Candace and
Richard.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get my phone on speaker and I can't seem to make that happen.
You want me to put mine on speaker?
Yeah, would you? That way just we can hear. Thank you.
All right, there we go.
All right, next item is review expenditures for July. Pass those numbers out. We had a full. Okay. A full month of patrol. Okay, that's not going to work then. I can't get him to come.
I can, so I have two phones. I have a work phone and a personal phone, so I could just call in on my personal phone as well.
Why don't you do that, and then I can hang up until that'd be all right. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
No problem. Just give me 1 second.
I finally got it on you.
Okay, so you don't need me to call in then? Yours is on mute, right?
No, yeah, I thought I was.
This call will be recorded.
Yeah, so I'll go in.
All right, I'm going to hang up. Can you dial in and I'll hang up?
Okay.
Okay.
Dial in again?
Yeah, but you've got to dial in now. I'm sorry, everybody.
This call is no longer being recorded.
All right, so I've got one phone on, the other phone is off.
All right, monthly expenditures for the month of July. We had seasonal employment costs of $2,475, docking fee of $150, the normal clerical fee. The boat expenses were about $200 for the shirts, and the rest is gas for the boat, maybe $400.
So do you think we're on track for seasonal employment, given that that ends in September, or does it go on beyond that?
Yeah, well, we'll usually do about two. We need to talk about that, but we usually end up with like 2 weeks into September. We go through. It depends on the weather and how many people are on. We always go through Labor Day.
Yeah.
And then we see when people's availability to go out there and what the activity is.
Okay.
So we sort of work through. But yeah, I think we're fine so far. Because we really only have, for the next spring, we really only have May and June to cover.
Correct. Well, the fiscal year ends July 30th, right?
June
30th.
So we have May and June,
Yeah.
half of May and all of June, so it should be, if my math is good, we should be fine.
Yeah, it looks like we're fine.
Hopefully. As I mentioned last time, I requested a carryover for the weed survey, and for $1,750. That weed survey was done, and apparently the Finance Committee did approve the carryover.
Yes.
So that's going to be that's taken care of. I also applied for carryover for the capital project. We haven't finished the Sluice Gate capital project. We're going for a water diversion permit. There's $6,088 left in that, and I applied for carryover for that for this year, and we don't know what happens to that.
It was approved last time.
Wonderful, thank you. Good. So that's good. Any other questions on it? No. Status of the water diversion permit. I have contacted you multiple times and said you would, check out where he has to within deep. I've had no response, and Wade Thomas, who is with Nathan Jacobson, has reached out as well, and we haven't gotten any responses. So we're just sort of on hold. Everything we need to do has been done. We're waiting basically for fisheries and/or other parts of deep to get back to us.
Mark, just 3 of the people in the audience know what that's about.
Well, one of them does.
I know, Morgan and.
How to make this short? Cliff notes. While we have been operating, the town has been operating the sluice gate at the dam for many years to help abate high water levels. Technically, the permit that the town has for the dam doesn't allow for that. That's called a water diversion under deep methodology, thought process. 2 years ago now, we had an issue where we had opened the gate and fish were migrating and up into the lake, and about 100 were killed because they got caught in the rock. We have come up with so DEEP notified us then it's for a notice of violation, they call it, which was finally delivered, I think, last October. And we've been working to apply for a water diversion permit. That has a couple of factors in it. One is we had to fix the embankment, the west side of the embankment to the dam, so that when the fish come out of the gate, if they are migrating out, they won't get harmed by the embankment. That has been done. We have updated the operating maintenance on how we will maintain when and under what conditions we will open the dam, sluice gates, and provided that to be. And we also provided a study of the hydrology, primarily of this side of the lake, to show that shows that the high level of the lake, water level of the lake, has an adverse effect on the water table for the people that live here, and can cause water in yards, water in basements, and potentially problems with septic if the water got high enough. So we've done everything we can on our side to meet their requirements, and we're waiting on them to respond. I don't know why they haven't responded. About a year ago, they said they were having one question of apparently the law on water diversion will change in 27 or 28, and they were trying to figure out how to have whatever we do meet that new law, but that was months ago, and I haven't heard anything new on that.
I got something from Keith this week that is addressing the backlog. They have a 5-year backlog of permits being approved, and they're hoping to have it done by 2027.
Wow. This is like, or just permits in general?
Permits in general. Indeed.
I'm sorry, can you tell me your name, please?
That's Mark,
So
Dennis.
Dennis?
Dennis
Okay.
Overfield.
Thank you.
When you get a chance to be forward, and that to me, that would be helpful. Because I didn't get that.
That means you can't control it all.
No, actually, we can. What we've worked out an interim arrangement with Deep, where Dennis actually acts as our primary lead on operating the sluice gate. And we monitor daily the lake level, how much rain's coming, and coordinate with Deep when we feel that the lake's high enough that we need to do something. So when we haven't had rain in a while, we did open it up early this spring, and it's worked well with them to make sure that that they're aware of what we're doing and they're comfortable. So.
And we're still getting flooded.
so you say there's still flooding now when the lakes are low?
Not now,
Oh,
but since they started this crap, about 6 times we've got flooded,
oh,
which we never did before.
Now, it's not 100 homes, it's like 20.
I didn't say how many.
No, I know that, I'm just.
Well, but there's, we had about 25 people say that they were having issues.
Right.
And so going on that, the hydrologist used where they were located and the levels that they had there and what the subsoils were to figure out if they were, what homes were at risk. And about 15 of the 25 were. That's not to say there's other homes that are located near the ones that voice the concern, or said they were being flooded, but they're in the same place, so they may be, we just never said anything, so we don't know. I mean, the flooding is high, people are not, it's not like the lake is coming into people's homes, the water table is high, so people's sump pumps are running, people's backyards are wet, people's crawl spaces can get wet. That's generally what happens.
plus you don't know what septic is happening with the septic because that's all underground.
That's right, yeah. Yep.
sometimes you can smell it.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Explain it to everybody.
Thank you.
With the deep backlog for permitting effect, aren't we getting
Apparently, I mean, I've just heard this just now, that's actually the next, we can jump ahead to that, to item D, which is the invasive plant survey and the herbicide application. We went ahead and got, as we talked about last meeting, we haven't received, our permit was up for herbicide application at the end of 2024. And in February, a new application was applied for. And they're normally supposed to respond in like 21 days. And they had not. I've been in contact with our provider, Pond and Lake Connection, actually done, since they are the permittee to apply the herbicide, they submit the application. We have, they've tried to contact you. I have contacted the people about what's going, that we need this permit. I reached out to our state legislators to ask if they forwarded it to the legislative liaison to see if they could do anything. So far, we still haven't heard anything back. Like Dennis just mentioned, the first time I've heard that.
It wasn't specific what permits, but it was incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
But they are trying to
Catch up.
The email was to say that they are going to rectify this issue, but it's until 2027 that they hope to have the backlog.
So what is the herbicide that we're looking to spread?
We have used Proctor. One Clipper, Cresselicor, and Clipper are the two that we have generally used.
Okay.
Not Diclone.
No, it's not Diclone.
No.
And it's, it's safe for use. There's no restrictions actually on the lake's use that once it's applied.
Shelf life is very short.
I don't want to derail the conversation, but I don't really think there's a problem with Dequat either, personally.
Yeah,
From what I've seen.
yeah.
But I'm going to defer to the scientists at the end of the table there.
For what the application has been very effective. Originally, they treated like 40 acres. Last year it was 4. I think I sent around what the survey was for this year, and I think we're up to 8 acres that they would suggest get treated. But yeah, we can't treat until they actually, until we get a permit. That's yeah. So that the areas are consistent with what they've done in prior years. Dennis, it shows near where you live now. I don't remember that being treated before, but I'll send this to you. But it's yeah. Yeah, so it's up a little bit, but it's it's also they're surveying later than normal, so there's some growth potential.
So, just for clarification, this survey indicates that we're still free of hydrilla.
Yes,
But we're treating for fanwort and milfoil,
correct.
and the threat of those is similar to hydrilla, that it makes it difficult to navigate and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the center of the lake where, like where the islands are, used to be incredibly hard to go through with a boat because it was so thick.
If you ever fell in the water, you couldn't swim.
Yeah, it was.
Trap you.
Yeah, and that's most of it cleared up.
Yeah.
So no, it's had an amazing effect. It's just.
And it's getting kind of thick.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We call it the gut, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, no, through there is where it really gets thick, but it's thick in other parts, you know, as well. And,
Yeah, all around that House Island.
yeah.
Maybe if we could get them to say, okay, we're still waiting on you getting your permit renewed, but until then, you've got a temporary permission to continue with work. An extension while they're waiting.
We can ask, I mean, it never hurts to ask. I mean, I wish I'd gotten a response from Benetton, man, you know, to just say, look, we're behind you. They're not responding to people, or they're not responding to us. So, I don't know. And I've been told that other, you know, other lakes in the state have the same issue.
Oh,
As you said in your nice letters to our representatives, the longer you wait, the harder it is.
Yeah.
Time sensitive.
Yeah, really.
But trying to run up or down this road, you go down.
It is.
This permit's what?
This is permits to, we have invasive weeds in the lake. For treatment of invasive weeds.
Yeah, what's happening is order of magnitude. For example, when I was working on Lake Housatonic, this is the road, they were treating annually 120 liters of liquid energy compared to the acreage you have here.
Yeah.
Difference is dramatic.
Yeah.
In our quality difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do have some excellent improvement in the 4 years as well. And some good data, so you're in good shape as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, thank you. I would agree. I think we've got, you know, we've had good, yeah, we've had very good experts out working.
You got your money's worth from this last survey. They had that airboat on the lake for 3 hours, 2 guys, for $1,700.
Yeah, I know.
fabulous.
You got your money's worth.
It's gonna cost them $13 to get the.
And they were right up on the shores, going around docks.
And they were taking like pictures or video while they were doing all that?
They have, they have these headphones and headsets, and so they are talking, one guy's operating the boat, the other guy's the observer, and they're just going around and they're recording what they visually see. They're not,
Oh, I see.
they are not going in,
Okay.
but they're very high up on the boat so they can see down in.
Yeah, they did a good job. Yeah, it was nice that you come out. So there any other comments on the permit? To go back up to see the, you know, talking about rapid response for plants or invasive species. A number of us dialed into the hydrilla conference that the Army Corps of Engineers had. They did a very good job, I thought, explaining the problem. I mean, what was frustrating is they had planned to do a lot more this year and have budget cuts, you know, stopped what they were going to treat a number of areas back down to a significantly fewer number of areas than they had originally scheduled for the year because of the budget cuts in the federal government levels. One thing that did come out of that I thought was helpful from the Connecticut Federation of Lakes was the communication strategies for lake associations, for hydrilla. Yeah. I thought that was pretty well done and something that we can sort of tie into, you know, us developing our plans.
Would this be an appropriate time to ask? I think it might people bring boats in from other places and launch off of Haynes Park.
Right.
Mostly it's, human powered boats, so SUPs, kayaks, and rowing shells. And I was wondering if we could ask Park and Rec if they would put up a sign that just instructed those people to make sure that there was no, I mean, I don't know what the proper instructions are, but from what I see, a hull that has no propeller or anything on it. You just really need to make sure there's no visible green stuff on there.
Right.
Maybe make sure that it's thoroughly washed before it comes from wherever you've been, whether it's the Connecticut River or some other place that might have bad stuff, to make sure that it's clean before it comes into our lake.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think we can get it, and we can copy the Connecticut Federation of Lakes had a poster, you know, you could easily have converted into a sign.
Okay.
And I think we just need to run that by Parks and Rec and see if they'll.
There's so many signs down there already. It's like a forest of signs.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to
Thin that out.
thin it out, because if there's so many signs, you don't see, you
Right.
can't read it all.
Yeah.
But,
You might, at the boat launch, there is a sign about, you know, invasives and.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if Deep, if you contacted Deep and said you left it posted at the town park, if they give you the sign, because then that's got Connecticut, you know, it's got Connecticut, you know, it would make you think there was some muscle behind it.
Yeah.
yep,
I could ask them, sure.
and hopefully they deliver it before 2027.
Well, I've been able to go down, a lot of times just go right down here to Fair Point.
Yeah.
And you pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to Yolanda about getting a hydrilla specific sign.
Yeah.
And,
I think that sign that says the boat launch is
generic.
pretty generic about, you know, we're not targeting one weed, we're talking about
Any,
yeah, soup coming in.
But should we target hydrilla as being personally scary? I mean, from the Army Corps presentation, the way they showed, the single stalk goes up, growing 3 inches a day, and each of those spread out to however many, and each of those grow 3 inches a day and spread and spread and spread. So it's not only covering the surface, if you look down at the piece of, but if you go underwater, it's like a dump field. That was scary to me, maybe anyone else.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have the illustration of the hydra from mythology, you know, all the angry that they've been, you could possibly borrow their materials to make a sign that would be like.
Yeah. Maybe Deep even has signs for that too, no?
I don't think so, because I asked them about Connecticut Federation of Lakes had come up with a sign specific for hydrilla and sent that to Deep, and they said no, that didn't quite meet their criteria.
As usual.
We have nothing.
So the short answer is no. We'd have to develop our own hydrilla one and run it by them too.
Well,
So we can't put anything up without Deep's approval.
That's right.
At the boat launch.
At the boat launch.
We put anything we
We
want up
would-
at Haynes Park,
Okay,
because that's owned by the town. But
okay.
the boat launch is state property, and no, so.
The only thing we could do if we were putting up or making our own sign is go to the Deep website that shows which lakes have hydrilla, Connecticut River, and then half a dozen or so lakes. And you can essentially say, if you've been here, and then let's be especially careful.
I just want everybody to watch the boat. I don't care where they go.
Well, but if you're coming out of Whalebone Cove or something like that, I mean, one fragment.
Yep. Selden seems like it's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Paul Rose at Selden's So, and it looked, the specific place they showed was the intersection, the north intersection between Selden's and Connecticut River. So it looked like it was almost impassable.
Yeah, the upper pond, is from the end of the creek to the river, it's completely impassable. So
That was one of the, like, 2 areas that were going to
They were gonna actually treat it.
reduce, but I think it was just like 2.
Yeah.
It's a relatively recent thing, since 2016, this has exploded, and continuing to explode.
So they're competitive, very aggressive.
I'd like to read their key message here on this document. It's short. Hydrilla is not just a Connecticut River issue. It's a ticking time bomb for all of Connecticut's lakes. Left unchecked, it will spread rapidly, choke native ecosystems, degrade water quality, impair recreational activities, and increase long-term management costs.
I saw it in the river.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it. Species occurring, right?
No,
So, I mean, I think going forward, we can work on signage definitely for Haynes Park and see where we can go with the boat launch. The other deterrent we can have is I did contact you about getting permit or a license for us to have representatives at the boat launch to see if boats have been washed or, you know, to inspect. And they actually got back to me fairly quickly. What we need to do, not in a meeting, but separate from this, is to come up with what our plan is, how we're going to staff it, what we want to do. Because when we apply, they're going to say, okay, we're going to have somebody there Saturday morning from X time to X time, these days of the year. So we need to tell them what we want to do and figure that out.
So it's a deep employee.
No, it would be our employees, but they would license us to be on their property and do that activity.
How complicated?
I mean, it's, you know, we can theoretically have you can train the patrol boat staffers to inspect the boat or to look at the boats.
But the patrol boat has another job, which is on the lake.
Right.
And I can't imagine that they can do both.
Well, they couldn't be on the lake. I mean, that's why we have to plan this through, because that rolls into budget. We have to go back to budgeting people to be at the boat launch at certain times.
So
And
is this
have those people.
something we could get high school students maybe wanting a summer job?
It's possible.
We used to use students at one time, we used to do this.
Often our experience has been when high school students were on the patrol boat or young adults. They weren't assertive or respected enough by the people they were interacting with to be effective. Is the problem.
Yep.
You know, so they didn't have.
It depends on the student.
That's probably true. But, you know,
There's a girl who's working at a booth at Rocky Neck, and that's a tough job.
yeah, I would think so.
That's a tough job. So it depends on the student.
So I suppose, you know, in the future, if identified we have in the lake, what is your rapid response? What will you do?
What we would do is identify exactly, confirm that that's, that it's in fact hydrilla. And we have people at the agriculture experimental station that we can send pictures to, and they get back to us right away and confirm that that's in fact the case. Our old permit would have allowed for our old herbicide permit would have allowed for us to use a herbicide on the hydrilla in small amounts in specific locations. But Dequat, is that what it is?
I know that the hydrilla responds to Dequat. I don't know if it responds to the two other.
Well, no, I asked specifically about Dequat.
Okay.
Apparently what our permit was at the time was broad enough to include that in small amounts.
So
in
that's
specific
your
areas.
permit that you no longer have.
That is correct.
That's a problem.
It surely is. Yeah. I mean, the best you could do is try to get, I mean, the secondary thing is to go out and have people try to rip it up. The problem is if you rip it up, unless you get the roots and no splinters, you've got to get the whole plant and nothing floats away, or else it's just going to spread. So the only really effective way is herbicide.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like out by the state right now.
Yes.
We're without a net.
Yeah, right now. We can keep trying. Because, yeah, right
Well,
now.
we just talked about, if you want, somebody would contact them and see if we could get a,
Interim?
something, extension of what we had.
You might remember that it had been suggested to me, that one of the problems with getting a permit besides the overall backlog was that there is an agreement between DEEP and the Department of Public Health in terms of the use of herbicides in public water, in water use for consumption. And I've been told I was told that is expired and they're negotiating to redo that agreement. So we not only need to get our permit done, but we need to get those two agencies have to finalize how we're going to treat herbicides in public water.
I bet it's publicized somewhere, or a newspaper, or a reporter, or anything like that. And that's kind of scary to me, this whole thing.
Yeah, it hasn't.
I don't remember hearing anything.
I don't think it has because it's fragmented. You know, we're not getting answers from. I started reaching out to. I've got one other lake where I know that their permit hasn't been approved, but you need more than just us. You know, you need to show that this is causing problems in a lot of different places in the state.
So what's the other lake you're aware of?
It's a small lake. I have to look how much on this.
So I was with a friend a week or so ago, and she lives on Bashan Lake, and we sort of, communed over the whole hydrilla thing.
Yeah.
And they have a similar problem up there. I can ask her whether Bashan Lake would be willing to join us
Yeah,
in a
that would be wonderful.
Was it Amos?
group.
Ames is really small.
Yeah, this is a small lake, barely.
Been down
I think Bashan is bigger than we are.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't getting back to Kevin Carney and Mark, I'm forgetting the state representative.
Yes.
State senator.
Yeah.
Because Carney seemed to be responsive, and if you say, well, this is where we are, we still haven't heard anything. We've just heard that the backlog for permitting till 2027. If we get hydrilla and have to wait until 2027, the lake will be literally ruined. Another lake in the state, Coahee and his fellow representatives, talk to the governor. Ultimately, he goes up.
Devin's pretty good. He's helped us in the past. I would think he would do it, yes.
Yeah, the other lake is Quonset. It's only 88.
Well, that's in the northeast.
Quonset,
Quonset.
QUASSET. I had planned on getting back to our state representative, but it had been like 10 days since I sent it out, so I'm giving him a little more time waiting for the survey to come back. But yeah, I think we've got to find out more people that are having this problem.
See, I mean, you said, I believe I heard you say that some lakes have an issue, and they can't treat it because the permits are not
I don't know that for, I know one other lake that has that problem. That's it. That's the only one I know for certain because our provider told me about it.
Okay.
But I don't know, and I tried to go on the website for the state for where pesticide applications, and I'm not good enough. I couldn't figure out how to get the data I wanted. That helped. So yeah, if you could.
I will reach out to my friend at Bashan and find out
Yeah, just
what's
have
going
her
on there.
email me, or another person email me.
Yep. So in the Army Corps of Engineers presentation, I don't know if you guys who were on looked at the chat at all.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of, I thought, sort of alarmist kind of stuff in the chat.
Yeah, there was.
People were getting really worked up about the dangers of DQuat, and I'm going to defer to the scientists at the end of the table, of course, but when I dealt with drugs and that kind of stuff, everything is dangerous at a particular dose. It's all about dose. And I think DQuat is perfectly safe the way that they've tested, and somebody said in the conversation that they find the no effect level and they go 1,000 times below the no effect level.
Right.
So I would say that kind of communication is alarmist, and we want to make sure that if we want to treat with DQuat, that we get out ahead of that and make sure that we don't have people working themselves up into a tizzy.
Because there was a nice slide that showed like 6 options. First, one option, or maybe the last one, was do nothing.
Right.
It has ruinous, literally. And then, the judicious herbicide treatment according to permits and regulations is one. The mechanical harvesting, which has problems, you're cutting off the heads of hydra, discarding it. So that was a real nice analysis.
Yeah.
And it also illustrated, because they had done a bit of the mechanical harvesting in Chester, and it turned out to be incredibly expensive.
Yeah,
we did it here too. It was very expensive. Remember? That was several years ago. We spent many, many days, divers, just all they did was pull it. They never got it all.
But that wasn't hydrilla that they were harvesting.
No, it was milfoil.
Right.
Same thing. It's one of those invasive weed.
I'm not sure if milfoil is quite as invasive as hydrilla.
Whether it is or not, it's an invasive species.
Yeah. Anyway, Joe's point is excellent, that particularly on the hydrilla topic, that slide was pretty
Yeah, it was very.
demonstrative.
Dennis, didn't you say that our lace is alkaline? We might not get hydrilla here? Wasn't that brought up at the last?
I did make that statement, but I haven't been able to find
Oh, okay.
the supporting evidence for that.
Well, I thought they said that when they came in and gave that speech. I think they talked about it.
I think that statement was more to do with that muscle.
Seagram muscle.
I think it had to do with the
Okay.
Seagram muscle.
All right.
that was discussed briefly when they visited, and it wasn't hydrilla. So we're vulnerable, we're lying without a net.
Okay.
And the polling is out, I mean, we had the fan work, and
That was good.
the divers were down doing it, and Dick was up the next day, and where they had just pulled, it had to be removed, it was dry.
Oh,
Yeah. That's not enough.
I used to have to go out every night, look in the water where they missed it. I'd drop buoys. But as they started going down the lake, it was growing right behind them.
It grows that fast.
Yeah, that's all.
So on the boat washing topic, Morgan was asking me if we could set up sort of a boat washing station either at, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that water, I would think it's already there.
Yeah, there isn't water at the
Boat launch.
state boat launch.
No.
There, pardon?
There is no water.
No.
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 I mean, the other thing you
But
have.
the water at Haynes Park is essentially pumping it out of the lake and back to the,
No, that's not true. That's not true.
okay. It's coming out of a well.
It's coming out of a well, but the water, we had, UConn and everybody, the water flows from the land to the lake. The only time the water flows from the lake back to your well is if you're pulling more water out of it and it's normal recovery rate.
Yep.
But water does not go from the lake to a well.
Okay.
That's a proven fact.
Yep.
Yeah, so another way to phrase that though, the issue is, even if you have a water source, you've got to, when you wash something down, what are you doing with that water and what comes out of that? So if we had, if we could get a wash station for boat launch, which would be ideal, have to figure out what to do. Not only, you can get water in there, but what are you gonna do with all the stuff you've washed?
Right, so
So we
we're,
have that marinas and things where you watch.
They do,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we have.
right, but you would need a holding, Morgan and I were saying, you would need some sort of a holding tank
Yeah,
that would hold that stuff and then dispose of it somewhere other than back in the lake.
yeah. I mean, I think, you saw one of those, right? You sent me a picture of one once.
Yeah, when I was out in Washington State in the
Yeah.
national parks, they had this, it's on a trailer, and it's hot water for washing down, but I don't remember where the wastewater was.
Yeah.
And obviously, anything we install at the boat launch, that's not our property, that's Deep's property, so we would have to square that away with them.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think the short term, the best we can do for that is to get permission to be at the boat launch and have people trained as to what, one, get funded for, but have people trained to inspect the boats and what, empowered or whatever you're allowed to do to have persons not put their boat in the water. That's it. The base thing, if you see something, how do you have the right to say, no, you can't put your boat in the water? So we gotta figure that part out. So I think that's a weird part. We're not gonna do that between now and September. So I mean, I think it's a good discussion. I mean, it is incredibly frustrating to keep getting permits and keep going forward.
I think it's important to keep monitoring, and as soon as we see this hydro in the lake, we notify people, so at least there's a stake put in the ground, so that now we can add that data to any other lakes. And
I mean, what we could do short term would be, and I don't know what the frequency is, but if we just had volunteers to the place that's most likely to come in at the boat launch. So if you had people, once a week, once a month, or some period of time, go up looking for unusual weeds, and if they see something that they don't recognize, to grab it, you can send it off and see what it is. I mean, that's going to be our best early warning at this point. Is to see if we can find it. And granted, if we don't have permits, we may not be able to do anything, but at least we'll know it's there. So, I would propose that we think about trying to get, people to do that. I don't think you have to do it like every week. I don't know what the frequency is.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Like just a Creek or that was there, we do it all.
You can look other places, but I think that's if where it's going to come is, that's where the trailer goes in the water. The other source can be where if somebody has a tank on their boat and they empty the tank in the water, when they're out in the middle of the lake. But the most likely place is when the boat's put in their water. And it could break off and you probably root right there along the creek there. Yeah.
Do chase boats come in the boat launch, or do they come to Haynes Park?
The launches for the rowing club all dock in Haynes Park.
And do they go to other lakes and then come back?
No.
Okay, so that's contained.
It was only one time they left here, and we insisted that they be completely power washed when they came home. It worked great for us because they needed to be power washed. But Morgan and I were just saying that, I mean, we're out there tooling around. It would be completely easy for us to look, take a look overboard. And, if we see something that looks suspect, pull it out, take a picture of it.
Take a picture of
Send it along.
And you both have a book that Tony has, and that's online. And you gave that link last time you were here, I don't remember that. That's while we're studying this concept, at least the hydrilla page.
I think after the Army Corps of Engineers survey, I have a good idea of what hydrilla looks like.
Yeah. No, if you could train the people to do that would be wonderful.
I put something up at the boathouse early in the season, but I can update it with something new.
I think last year, the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay, so if somebody worked to organize us, doing inspections on the lake, to just go out and take a look.
Do you want me to put up a Google sheet and people can put in their name and the date, and hopefully they'll just say nothing, maybe the location, and then nothing seen.
That would be great.
Okay, I'll take that on.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we've covered that pretty well for the moment. In terms of other old business, patrol boat operations seems to be doing fairly well. We've gotten a couple calls about jet skis as normal, nothing too terrible. And actually, I forwarded it around. We did get a thank you letter from one of our guys, Mark, one of our patrol operators, towed a pontoon boat with a woman and her daughter on it. And it was windy, and towed it back to her house, and she spent it the night. So thank you, and appreciate it. So that was nice. So in terms of old business, the last thing was we talked about old Lyme's use of herbicides, specifically Roundup on parts of Flood Street. Do we want to hold off on this for now? We drafted a letter, Joel did. Do I have to hear that? I'm not sure where we left that. Yes.
Tony and others noticed that the town had sprayed along guardrails on Wall Street and along Grassy Hill with an herbicide, and she asked, and Gentleman said it was a Roundup type herbicide. It contains glyphosate as the active ingredient. So Mark, Tony, and I discussed this, and I drafted a letter that handed out. I won't read it entirely, I'll just summarize. It starts saying, we understand the timeline Public Works recently sprayed around guardrails with Roundup like herbicide. Visibility of front guardrails is fairly important. We encourage the town to cut vegetation rather than use herbicide. Because these guardrails are over streams which flow into Rogers Lake or near vernal pools which contain sensitive species. And they list 3 locations which are over tributaries tributaries leading directly into Rogers Lake. So they're spraying, and if any got in the water, it just goes right into the lake. And then the other locations are no doubt near ditches, which form vernal pools for fish habitat. And it got some literature references there, which describe how lactate basin is right like groundwater. There's facts and describe what vernal pools are. So I conclude by saying that given that these guardrails are near sensitive areas and we're leading into the lake, that perhaps they could use weed whackers rather than herbicides in the future. They may reply that, assuming that their herbicide was a form of glyphosate that's permitted near water, such as the so-called rodeo version, they might say, well, that's approved and that's okay, in which case we can say, well, okay. But, so I'm curious what the fellow members think about this sort of letter. Yeah, on one hand, we're eager to be able to appropriately use herbicides in the lake, the right ones to treat hydrilla, and then the other hand, we're concerned about spraying around guardrails. So I don't want to complicate the issue of an herbicide, but I think they're very different and the reasons behind them. But that's part of the discussion here. So any feedback?
I think it goes back to the argument, if you're using a herbicide and approved, you know, which we are doing in the lake, that's different than having an accidental application from, you know, spraying in the water. To me, they are sort of different things, and to ask the town about it. Yeah.
Lars has said to me, so he's the head of the town garage, that they don't do it when it's going to rain, and they put in some kind of a additive that makes it quick drying.
Really?
That's what he said to me.
So it rains.
Right, right.
Another distinction, I think, is for the lake, there is no mechanical option that will work. You either use appropriate herbicide in the lake as for we're seeking a permit, or for the lake is controlled. You can't pull it. Whereas around guardrails, you know, someone could put an extra hour with a weed whacker without the chemicals. So I think it's worth bringing up the point to the town, and hopefully they'll reply back with the approved types such as rodeo around the normal roundup. And these will advance, we will consider gathering and adjusting chemicals.
I do want to say that old line, I think, dealt with too, being, you know, guardrails on the old line section that also had ground vegetation when everything else was green.
Going back in town, in line for 6 years or so, I don't remember seeing it.
No, I don't remember seeing it before, which is why it's.
Yeah.
Like why it isn't guardrail on
Could have put a lot more this year too, a lot more aggressively, and all of a sudden it was there and
Yeah.
very visible.
Very visible, very visible.
So I guess we're seeking whether the RLA should send out a letter to, for example, town selectmen, select people, signed by RLA, or whether we go back to the council.
So are we sending to Lyme or both towns?
You know, maybe line CCO.
Well, it seems like people have documented evidence that they've seen this behavior in Lyme, but I think from what I'm hearing, it's only speculative in Old Lyme. So I would think we are on a little bit shakier ground in Old Lyme.
Yeah, I would think we just send it to the town line, and then if we develop, you know, very specific locations in the old line where we see that we're having the same effect, and we'll have it to old line as well.
So where in Old Lyme would you see guardrails near the lake? I'm thinking over near the intersection of Grassy Hill and Post Road,
On Grassy Hill.
which is there's a lot of attention to that area these days with the bridge and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right down there, the stop sign. There's a stream that flows in there.
Is it brown around the stop sign? Is there brown vegetation around the stop sign?
Well, people live there, put all the damn weeds there for years, now they filled up the vernal pool that was there. It's just a massive weeds. It's hard to see.
That's not.
But that's the
Yeah,
town,
that's
that's a private residence.
So if we do line count, the select people,
right.
do we also do, what's the water, there's like a conservation group or something in line? Do
Well-
we do them too?
The land trust.
No, it's a water, group, on the.
Inland wetlands?
Yeah, that's,
So all these commissions every town has the same
Yeah.
menu of commissions, they're state mandated. So they have inland wetlands, and I think they probably, I think they have a conservation commission as well.
yeah.
But Lyme, obviously, they're all much smaller than Old Lymes.
You said, Tony, Conservation Commission acting as the inland wetlands and water.
Okay, that's the terminology.
Inland wetlands, their name changed. There's a lot of attention on Old Lyme's inland wetlands because that whole issue with the rock crusher mine thing down near my house. And there's vernal pools over there, and the guy was trying to have a quarry.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was a lot of kerfuffle over inland wetlands for that matter, which is how I got to know about what inland wetlands was.
On the town of Lyme website, Conservation Commission, acting as the inland wetland and watercourse agency for Lyme. The Conservation Commission oversees all of the inland wetlands and watercourses in Lyme and determines what activities are allowed or prohibited along our streams, rivers, ponds, and lakes.
Okay.
They write regulations and enforce these. Do we have to vote?
Yeah, I think we should vote to approve the letter and to be sent to those people.
I move to send this letter to the town of Lyme Inland Wetlands Conservation Commission concerning the use of glyphosate-based herbicides around the lake.
I'll second it.
Right, or around the lake or any within proximity of any water, way, stream, within it, that's lake.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So I had 2 seconds.
Dick and Joel. Who wants it?
I didn't hear Joel, so.
Okay, you were first, so.
Okay, I don't know. Whatever.
All right, moving on. New business, lake events. I got a report later from Dick. There's a fishing tournament on 8/26. Amy, I'll send these to you so you can see what they are.
Okay.
And 8/31. And then there's a request for a sailfish regatta on 9/20 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we don't need to be doing anything for that, but they put in a request, but we needed to review this group before I could sign off.
The fishing tournaments you had August 26th, and you had another one?
August 31st.
The 24.
24, 26, and 31. Yep.
There was more fishing last weekend than there was during the fishing tournament.
I know. I know.
It was crazy.
2 additional items that I'd like to just briefly mention. Speaking of the boat launch, the River Creek going up for the boat launch. I was down there today, and there is a lot of trees down. It needs to get cleaned up. And actually, I went up and, there was a lawn that was floating sort of in the middle. I was in my inflatable, so I could push it off to the side. I didn't have enough horsepower to drag it out. So we need a work party to go up and try to clean that up.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Those are wildlife trees. You'll be in trouble.
In the water?
In the water. They're for the turtles.
Can we move those now further up?
What we've done before is I've pulled them back to the land, still leaving the end in the water. So the state, didn't say anything, but they big on that.
All right. Well, that's the case. Yeah. We will. Yeah, we'll.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So not in a minute.
We're not doing it.
Okay, got it.
We officially are not doing that.
All right. Won't be in a minute.
Yeah, they call them wildlife trees, for the turtles and stuff.
Something that we do officially do and are registered to is Adeline Eggs. Parks and Rec is looking to hire the government to addle eggs.
I think they were looking for a permit from the government to addle eggs.
See, well, we have a permit.
Yeah.
Rogers Lake Authority has a permit.
Oh, okay.
What I talked to Sarah before her meeting. Sarah Van
Vliet.
Vliet.
The Van Vliets are a big family in Old Saybrook.
Okay. She, is in charge of the Haynes Park
Enhancement Committee.
They're trying to figure out what to do. They were going to, set up a program to add legs. They could get it together. I mentioned that I've already done that. They're tracking it. We got into a discussion about it, if we would, our volunteers would be willing to continue to do that, and I said I thought we would. But in the discussion, I recognized part of the problem is, I think there's 3 populations of geese, or there's 3 places the geese are. They're over at the senior center.
Yep.
They're here, and they're another.
Black Hall.
Black Hall.
On the other side of
On the other
Route 1.
side. So, and I don't know if, you really need people to be adding eggs in those places as well, if you're going to really try to reduce the population.
Yeah.
So, it's relatively easy to, you can go on the website and you can get the town of Old Lyme registered to addle eggs in like 5 minutes. So it's fairly easy to do. You just need, but we need to get volunteers to do that, to learn how to do it, and figure out what the right time and what the right season to do that. So I suggested we would help them in those efforts.
So on the thread, one of the questions I had was how many years have we been doing this? And you contributed to the thread that it was 5 years.
That I've been doing it, put it that way.
And were there people doing it prior to that?
No.
So as far as we know, we've had this program in place for 5 years.
Well, a few years that we never said anything because it wasn't.
We've had an official program for a year.
Yeah.
We had
Right.
interested parties that live around the lake doing it for 4 years prior to that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So in any case, I want to sort of explore, with several years of this program ongoing, what has the impact been on the goose population?
We don't know.
It doesn't seem like it's significant.
Well, if they're only doing at the lake and we're doing at the pond across the Route 1 or at the senior center, how much increase do they have?
So, I guess your suggestion is we need to up our game.
Yeah.
We need to have a more extensive program if we're going to make a dent.
The other issue is we don't know how many resident geese we have. If you remember, this spring, there were at least 100, more than the lake was iced over. up but for where the dam is,
Oh, yeah.
there were hundreds of oodles.
Well, you can thank the gentleman who was at the dam with that damn bubbler under his raft going 24 hours a day nonstop. He kept all that open water, so they gathered there.
Okay, but I'm just saying, all those geese aren't still here. I don't know where they all went.
They go south eventually.
Okay, well, some of them don't though, because the rest of them are here all year.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the resident population is of the geese even here. And
I think we only just,
geospatial.
by getting rid of the eggs, we're just stopping more. If born here, they'll come back here. That's about the only way I can figure it out.
I guess what I'm exploring is whether, so from Sarah Van Vliet's perspective, she really wants to get a handle on these geese because there are a bunch of projects that the Park and Rec wants to do in Haynes Park. And nobody's going to support investing in all kinds of stuff there if there's still a goose problem.
Right.
So her plan, which you can find on the Park and Rec site, the first top line thing is take care of the geese. And what I'm exploring is whether, how are we going to get our arms around that? Is the Adeling program going to do it? Do we need to up our game?
They
and
don't
Adeling-
nest on the beach. Haynes Park, they do not nest. They're not.
You're right, absolutely.
Yep. So there's nothing you can do to do at the park.
Well, they nest other places and then they come and poop.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, that they do. Yes.
So I mean, we care where they nest because that's where we're going to find the eggs. We also care where they poop because.
So all those things you've done, within a matter of days, they learn what's going on and then they ignore it. Everything
You're
you've done
talking
there.
now about the
Coyotes,
coyotes
all those
or the
moving things you got,
or the
the swans,
The
all that stuff. Within a few days, they realize it's not real.
and do you remember we used to have canisters that had horns and lights on them?
Yeah.
And they started just walking around those too.
Sure, no.
That's it. They
Yeah.
They learn.
So and the coyotes seem to escape.
See, they only nest on the islands because there's no predators. That's fine. They nest on all the islands. That's it. Okay, I've never found any along the shore anywhere at all. Always just the islands.
Yeah.
It's legal now.
We
Oh,
have a permit.
yes.
They have a permit.
And I've
It's
stopped
legal
that.
if you have a permit.
Yes.
You can also oil them, right?
Well, that I believe is.
All those things are not 100%. The only right now is I take all the eggs. That's it. I take the eggs.
You can remove them. I mean, the issue.
You can remove them.
You add them because if you remove them, there's a chance that at some point they'll lay them again, right?
So I go out next week. Spend an hour on the water, check all the nests again. And if there's every one I've found so far that we've taken, I've never found any more eggs. I did find one dumb couple of birds. I go back there, she's sitting on the nest, I shake her off, there's nothing there. And the male's all running around like doing crazy. I mean, she still thinks the eggs are there.
So
Figure that one
You
out.
don't really know what she thinks.
I don't know what the hell she thinks, right? Because she's still there sitting on them, trying to keep them warm.
Are there, Dick, do you know if there's nests over in the other two locations?
They've been on every island. It depends.
No, what we're talking, are there
A
any?
black hole? Oh, yes. I've seen them come across the road onto our lake.
So there are nests, so so we can continue to add a leg.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to know its population. Somebody's gonna have to.
This year, I think I can say that none of the eggs ever hatched here. I should see two families. By the time we saw them, the little ones were half grown, so they came across they walk across the road and come here. So that's the other problem.
And I do not stop if I see them.
No, I don't either. Nope.
Do not slow down.
I mean, I don't know if Sarah's gonna do it or we're gonna do it, or, I offered our help. I guess my big point is, I offered our help to her in developing the program, and telling her what we do.
But they don't have,
Identified,
they don't have a permit, as you do.
right, so, I mean,
We can tell them how to get it.
it's easy to get, one, we could add them to ours, or two, they could get their own. It's not hard at all. You only have to be as an organization, and then,
It doesn't take long to go around.
this is not they're not coming out running you through a bunch of steps. They just want to know what you're doing. And all you have to do is tell them who you are and then tell them what you did. That's it. So I'm happy to, help her. We would, I think, help. But I think you have to, if you're going to make an effort, you've got to hit all the locations locally rather than just here.
And I don't destroy the eggs. I give them to people and they use them. So it's not as though I'm destroying all the eggs. I give them out.
Sideline of goose omelets.
There you go.
There are people that like that.
High protein.
I know of some. That's why I say the eggs, I give them away. I don't destroy them.
And the chase boats, any boat is allowed to hassle the geese.
Really?
Yes. You just can't kill them.
Oh, that's good.
But you can harass them, and that is legal.
And actually, believe it or not, there is a goose season, and you can shoot.
There is.
Well, do you remember we had a discussion about people shooting them on the lake, and we were concerned because they were firing
Have to be a
firearms.
certain distance away from houses.
Right, and you can't really get that far away from
You can
houses.
sit in the middle of the lake and shoot them up in the air. That'd be about it. No, there is a season for
Right,
it.
but there was a goose season.
There is.
There was an ailing goose at Hames Park the other day, and a bunch of people got very concerned about the goose's health.
We got people only to feed it.
And the goose was bundled up and sent off to Groton,
Oh, come on.
Oh, really?
and Groton euthanized them.
Oh, good.
Euthanized the animal.
Well, I mean, that's
So they did not, bring the goose back to life and then return him to us, unfortunately.
Good.
The other issue that's coming up now, though, is ducks. The duck population on the lake
Tell me.
it's getting bigger.
has gotten significantly larger.
Their eggs are around there too. You can take them as well.
They're bold.
No, I've seen the ducks. You got one nest, and another nest over there with the ducks.
I had a group follow me into my garden. I left my door open, and I was working in the garden, and there's 5 of them standing there.
Oh, the ducks?
Yeah,
When my grandkids used to feed them, it got to the point they would come up
yeah,
and look at my damn door at the house.
that's the problem right there, is that people are.
And if I didn't do the front door, they'd go around to the back door and look in the window.
I wonder where they're now.
He could tell you.
Yeah.
What's that?
They go
They're
back to the woods.
Where is it out now?
Same place on the islands.
Oh, okay.
They might do it on land too, I don't know, but I've seen them on the islands, put it that way, with the other nests.
All right.
So,
Are there any other new business? Yes.
How about, I just, I'm a little concerned this weekend because I believe was a wake surfing boat out there. Very loud music, messages and stories. And, we
Okay.
should probably start discussing if we start to have a problem with that, because I know like on Lake Warmont,
Yeah.
they just, made it that the activity of wake surfing you cannot do anymore.
Right.
And Bashan Lake is also looking at banning wake surfing.
Right.
And all the problems that, I'm sure you all know the problems that come with that.
We actually talked about it at the last meeting. I saw that boat too.
Yeah.
The person was on a tow rope. They weren't
I don't
surfing.
think they were ready yet to let go, that's what I think, but.
Yeah, no, it was very close. And I don't, it didn't appear to me that he had the tanks to,
I've never seen one, it's just, I saw an interview with some people at, Harvard News, whatever. They were interviewing people at Warmont Lake, a couple of months ago. And I was like, we never did that at our lake, and then when that showed up this weekend, I thought, oh, I wonder if that's what that is.
yeah, that is, it could be. I mean, I think,
Just the horsepower alone, from what I read, that's not even allowed.
yeah, our best defense currently is the horsepower. Just to really have one of those boats, you need a lot of horsepower.
And they also really need like 15 feet of water, which in many places you don't have.
You don't have.
good, let them run it down.
We have a patrol boat, we do not have a police presence. We have a safety advisor. So, if people are operating unsafely, wave them and say, please don't do that. But we do not have the ability to, other than to record, if someone's blatantly breaking the law, any citizen can video it and send it to me. But, we don't have a police presence.
I don't think there's anything you can do about this guy right now, anyway. Unless you, and why would we not be allowed? Because of the horsepower. But you can't go check an engine or wherever, see what's on the horse.
And you can't enforce town law.
No, we could enforce that, we'd have to enforce that. And,
We don't have any control here.
well, it's still,
I wouldn't go that far.
it's an ordinance, he is breaking an ordinance, so we could, I'd want to talk to the town attorney before we do that. The other issue we have, though, is we don't have a history of enforcing that ordinance. So if we all of a sudden start enforcing it, are we gonna do it selectively, or are we gonna go around and check out everybody's vote in the lake?
And we know who's got all the overpowered ones. It's easy.
What's the max horsepower?
135.
Yeah.
And we also have a noise ordinance as well in town overall.
We do overall.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
Don't go there.
why
For
not?
the rowers in the morning, Sunday morning, 6 o'clock, while out there hauling with each other.
Oh, they don't beat the noise over.
We don't do the noise ordinance.
See?
Yeah.
You said noise orders, that's noise in the morning.
No, but it's
But
not,
it's not
there's
above
a-
the ordinance.
it's 120 decibels.
Whatever the decibels are for that.
It's 110 or 120.
It'd be close on some of them, especially when they get the megaphone and all that stuff. Oh,
So in our neighborhood, we've enforced other ordinance. Like there's an ordinance in town that you can't run a auto repair shop in your house
Right.
on your private property. And we had somebody in our neighborhood who was doing that. And so the neighborhood association sent them a letter just informing them of what the ordinance was. So it didn't necessarily have teeth. It wasn't like we're going to arrest you, but it just informed them of what the law was, and it took care of the problem. So I think you would probably be covered if you just sent people a friendly reminder, reminding people of what the ordinance is.
We have to know their address, who they were.
Well, you have the address of people. You could just send a blanket to everybody around the lake, just reminding you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You're not allowed to have a engine that exceeds 135 horsepower.
We do a annual newsletter, and it has that kind of stuff like that. I'm not,
But you're saying it doesn't have any effect.
yeah, I think, we can look into this some more, and I know the one instance you're concerned about. And I looked at how this is, you have to do ordinances like horsepower or what's configured on the boat. So the boat, you can say that you can't have boats with ballast tanks that help you increase. You can try to set those additional ordinances up so that we don't get more leak boats on.
I don't know what Walmart did, but they did something so that, I think it took them a while, a few years to get the new buoy.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I checked it out earlier this week, and once again, DEEP won't let you just outlaw certain kinds of boats. You can't just, you just can't put an ordinance.
And I don't think it
I don't want
was
any
the
more
boat,
jet
it was the
skis.
activity, not the boat.
Yes, in this case, that boat's been there for a long time. We just started doing this part, and the music didn't help.
I just saw my mind there.
No, I appreciate it, and it's a concern. Any other questions? What's up?
We got another problem that's starting to creep up on the lake, and that's people putting in random buoys in front of their places.
Okay.
By Picnic Island, there's one person that has a buoy out way more than 50
There's one on the north end too.
And then up at the Blind End, there's somebody that also has a buoy. And I know from experience that the only buoy that you can put in without a permit is a mooring buoy.
That's it. Yep.
That's white with blue stripe.
Yep.
However, so I've had a chat with a woman over by Picnic Island because I go between the buoy and the land. It's out so far. And she's chastised me twice, and I've told her, do you have a deep permit? You have to have the deep permit with the number on the buoy.
Yep. Yep.
I did tell her that she could put in a mooring buoy, but the issue is people could start putting mooring buoys anywhere in the lake,
That's it.
anytime they want. So this is more of a,
Yeah, I know.
Is there, I mean,
we gotta be careful how we go about this because it could screw up rowing, it could screw up water skiing, everything.
But all that stuff is state. Get the state at them. That's all state, not us.
So,
well,
I,
people do regulate moorings though, right? I mean,
nope. That's why they do harbor, they have, in a harbor, there's a harbor master, that he's the one, but it's written up in the rules that, it's part of an ordinance that you go and see the harbor master. But if you look at the deep thing, and the deep guy told me that was after me to get my buoys out, you can put a mooring buoy anywhere you want,
Yeah.
as
Oh, yeah.
long as you're allowed.
Yep.
As long as there's no town
so
ordinance.
that's my point. You need an ordinance that doesn't allow that to happen. That you can't put a mooring more than 50 feet outside. Right?
Well, yeah, you gotta, it needs to be wordsmithed and.
No, I understand, but I mean, if there is a loophole for moorings, which there appears to be, we would need to address that somehow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when the ordinances are redone, that it's just come up, and this woman has hassled me twice now.
Oh, yeah.
That, and it's really where when you go around Picnic Island.
Yeah.
Instead of going down the race course if you go around the island.
Yeah.
To the right, it's way out from shore. And then over by, the other place that's been doing it, that hasn't been bad, but it's over by, Dick Smith there, the guy has a red buoy that goes out with all on it.
Oh, there's Dick Willett there in the corner. Yeah.
And that's illegal too.
Yep.
The only thing that's legal, and that West Shores has the swimming buoys out, and they have permits for those.
Right.
But those are the only thing that's permitted on the lake,
Yep.
is those buoys right now.
Yeah, because at that time,
Have permissions that there's, from the state, but those would get close to keeping out. Ralph and, Scott Young, just,
it's swim buoy, but do they ever permit?
they have a permit to do that.
Do they?
You know that, yeah.
Okay.
It has that number on
On
the
the top.
buoy.
Yeah, it was submitted by the state.
That's
So
why.
you want us to turn both these people into Jews?
No, I'm
trying to figure out where we go.
No, I'm just making, if we make a big deal out of this, it's gonna
It's gonna
It's gonna
bite us.
backfire on us.
Backfire.
But,
Can I say a question? You said it's okay, because I have like old lobster buoys that I go on my tube, when I click on a rope, I just click on the lobster with it. How far out can you click it? I don't want to keep traveling, I just go out there and hang out. Is there a distance you can put them at?
no, I have, and how I know this is I had weed mats,
Oh, I haven't.
and I had the weed mats within 20 feet of my shore, the water line. and we were having problems with right-of-way 13.
Yeah.
And Deep was on the lake, and they left me a note to call them, and I was ringed one side or the other, and you have one day to get them out of there.
Yep. Yeah.
No, the buoy are where the end of the mats are.
Okay, they come to the whole thing, okay.
So,
So I'm just, you know, it seems like there's a lot of ordinance work that's gonna have to happen here, but I just don't know how to do it, but the issue is, what Deep explained to me, if somebody gets hurt with your buoy that wasn't permitted, that person is liable for
Yeah.
any issues, but that was his explanation of what it is. He said, you have a day to get that out of there. And there was no questions asked, and all of a sudden now, buoys are showing up way off docks, and I understand why they're there.
Because I worked with the state to get all those swim buoys in the right-of-ways.
Right.
And I tried to get stuff for other people who wanted a buoy, well, a hoop on the corner, because they cut it short there. He wanted to, the state said no. One of the right-of-ways we wanted, no, because the guy's dock was right on the edge of the right-of-way. They wouldn't let you use it. I mean, it's very strict.
So, I don't know that there's any action there. I just think that, you know, if it be in the minutes, that it was a problem, an issue raised, and then, you know,
Can't you go over there and cut her line and the little boy will float away?
and people are harassing the fishermen too. I mean, I
Oh,
talk
God.
to the fishermen out in the front of me, and I say, fish away, the only requirement is you gotta catch something. I said, you're providing me with entertainment. But, and they said, oh, thank you. I mean, we get so many issues with people telling us to go away. They can't do that.
no, I know.
Yeah, we all have to share the lake.
So, anyway, but,
Okay.
In terms of regulations and priorities, do we want to have actions related to wake boats and start getting that in place?
We have no authority. We can't do anything. Can't do anything. Why bother?
I think we should investigate it to understand if we were to have regulations, what they would need to be. I mean, because the toughest, yeah, because the regulations have to be drafted very specifically. You can't just say, I don't want to, that it has to be specific of how the wake boat is constructed and what it does. Because you can't outlaw a type of boat. You can control horsepower, you can control other things on a boat, but you can't say, no, you can't have that kind of boat.
it's like the jet skis, once they're here,
Yeah, we should outlaw those to begin with.
you can't make them
That's a
go away.
personal.
State should never allow it. We don't have the footage from the shore. They're running illegal. That's the state's fault.
But direct answer to your question, Joel, is, yeah, I think we need to give that off the plate. What we would propose to the town to do to protect ourselves.
If you get ahead of it, 'cause
Yeah.
it turns up the water, the cold water at the bottom and the warm water on top and the diversity. You don't want to mix all that up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just, we don't like to listen to it or see it. It's got real negative impact on the lake chemistry and biology. And if we want to do it through horsepower, then there's the question of are we universally applying that to anyone with over 135 horsepower, which opens other questions. If there's a way to do it based on.
And we have one horsepower.
We already have the horsepower.
Right.
From what I read, they need like at least 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
300 to 600.
There's a bunch of boats like that kind of horsepower on the lake already. There's a bunch of them. The one right down there, neighbor, just a few down from you. think the drawdown, he called me one time, he couldn't get out, he left his boat in too long, it was too shallow. You want me to tow him out? Told me he'd boat he had, I said, no, you're illegal, I'm not doing it for you. Wait till the water comes back up. This one last year, you see the one, the redwood in the, over there? He didn't get it out till December. We didn't have any rain after the drawdown. He didn't get it out till December sometime.
Yours is way legal, I'm sure.
Do we have any other points for discussion?
Just a public service announcement. On Monday night, the Board of Selectmen are going to be hearing a presentation from Parks and Rec about their intent to dredge the beach at Keens Park. This project is in its infancy. They haven't done really any of the required investigations about deep or about environment or anything. It's they don't really know anything about cost or scope, but they're just sort of pie in the sky. And my personal opinion is that they really need to get a plan before they start going forward with asking for money and doing presentations and whatnot. So if you want to go and hear what they're thinking or what it's about, or even share your own views on it, if that's Monday.
Monday at the, Old Limehouse Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time?
I think it's 5:30. And I won't be there. We are going on vacation.
Enjoy. All right, any other?
Yeah, just a comment, I think the way you said it, on this discussion, what strikes me is that, the difference between what I've observed and who's not River, which is, orders of magnitude different, okay? But here, you have a pristine lake, which you have to subtract, which is dramatically different from those on the river. But the issues are the same, access, required representation, it's all the same. It's just in magnitude, so unfortunately, that was just too late to start it. Trying to do that way.
It's really clear this year to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like September, it becomes really, really clear.
Yeah,
From my
pretty
point of view.
clear.
Right now, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Before we close, I just want to say I really cannot be at next month's meeting. Okay.
Oh, I didn't think so. I found some shirts that I had. I don't know what I wanted to give to you.
Oh, Joel needs a hat.
You need a hat? I got some stuff. You want one? Sure. All of a sudden, I was done cleaning out, I found more stuff.
Oh, good, okay. I've got a collection. All right, do I hear, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting by lengthy and voluminous,
Yes.
this today.
I'll second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.